What's going on, y'all? In this video, I want to talk about how to stand up for yourself, and I want to talk about how to do this respectfully. How to set boundaries for yourself. That ever happened to you sometimes, man, where it seems like somebody kind of crossed the line with you, just kind of overstepped maybe a boundary that you might have, or you might not even know that it's one of your boundaries, but you feel a sense of getting irritated, or like you might be around a coworker or something like that, and they like their energy just like irritates you. You might not even know why. And it might just be compiling, and you can feel that shit building up in you to the point where you know you need to address it. And if you don't, you're going to end up blowing up. So if that's you or somebody or something that you deal with, this video should help you out here, man. I got a little bit of a story for you, okay? So last week, I was talking to my coworker, Chrissy, right? And if this is your first time clicking on my video, you have no idea who Chrissy is. Check out one of my other videos. I'll leave a link where I talk about Chrissy, my relationship with her, and some lessons that I've had to learn interacting with her. Here's what happened. Let me try to break this down in a clear, concise way. I was going to work a shift for Chrissy. It was going to be a Saturday, which was yesterday, as in relation to how I'm filming this video. So, but last week when we was talking about the shift, which was on Tuesday, I put it out there. I was like, hey, I may consider working your shift this coming Saturday. I don't have my kid, but I didn't commit to it right then in the moment, right? She's like, Tracy's going to work it. Oh, no, she was like, Tracy says she might work it, but I told her to let me know by Thursday. And she was like, you can let me know by Thursday, too. I was like, bet, that's cool, because I didn't feel like committing to it right in that moment anyway, because my shoulder has been kind of messed up because I dislocated my shoulder. So, I wanted to get through my work week, make sure my shoulder's not too exhausted, and then I could, show up for a Saturday shift, which is the busiest day of the week. So, so I told her, I said, yeah, I'll let you know by Thursday. So the next day, which is a Wednesday, it's me, Chrissy, and my manager. We're standing by the register, right? We're all kind of getting our money, getting ready to go, making small talk, and I'm kind of saying to Chrissy, like, yeah, hey, that was a good shift. Hey, I'm more than likely I'm going to pick up that shift for you this weekend. And then my manager hears us, and she's all like, what shift? She's like, what shift are you guys talking about? And then Chrissy starts to explain to her, yeah, my Saturday shift. Tracy might work it, but Bryce is considering working it. And the manager starts to go, oh, yeah, Tracy, she's got so much going on right now. She's got this to do, that to do, da. And in my mind, I'm just kind of standing there. I'm counting my money. I'm like, that's great. That's great to hear that Tracy has all that going on. And then Chrissy goes, so do you want it, Bryce? So do you want it? Like asking me if I wanted to shift right there in the moment. And in my mind, I was kind of like, yo, like I told you, I'll tell you on Thursday. Like, why are you mentioning it to me right now? And in that moment, I kind of folded. I was like, yeah, I'll take it. I wanted to like, it was like it's kind of like I went against myself in that moment. And I didn't really realize this, like what was happening until afterwards. I knew in the moment it didn't feel solid for me to commit to that because I had already told Chrissy, I'll let you know by Thursday, let's stick with that. But it was kind of like my back was put up against the wall in a way. And it didn't really feel good either. And I kind of like I said, I felt like I folded in that moment. So I committed to the shift, right? And then the next day, I woke up, man, before getting ready to go to work. And I woke up like before my alarm went off because it was like sitting on my spirit, that I had committed to that. And it was a combination of things. It was me committing to that shift, and it was also some things that had been irritating me working with Chrissy as of late, right? It was all compiling. It was like a pile of bricks that were building up. And I felt it. I was like, man, this is just irritating. Like, I feel like, a lack of consideration. You know what I mean? Like, girl, me and her already had an arrangement of when we would, hash this out and narrow down the details. So why are you going against that? So I sent Chrissy a voice note the next morning. I ain't let no days go by, no 2 or 3 days pass. It was the next morning. It's still fresh. And I sent her a 4-minute voice note that I set and I thought about. I didn't just send it emotionally. I didn't send it impulsively. I thought about it, and I was very cool, calm, collected, respectful, grounded. I even say this in the message. I even say, hey, I'm just trying to address some things from a respectful, grounded way. And I broke it down for her. I said, hey, yesterday when we were all talking about this shift, I thought you and I had kind of agreed on me letting you know by Thursday. And, I felt a little sense of pressure in that moment. When it kind of came out of nowhere. And so I shared that with Chrissy in this voice note, along with some other things that had been kind of building up. But I tried not to drop a laundry list of complaints with her. I tried to just like, keep it respectful. Like, hey, this is what I've kind of been experiencing the past few weeks working with you. And I said some things in this message too. I use language like, yo, I feel like I'm your assistant. I feel like I'm your errand boy at times. And me and her had this relationship where, she can be an anxious person and she can project her anxieties onto you. She can be very needy at times and just ask you for a lot of things during the shift, almost as if she can't really stand on her own. So I shared all that in this message with her, right? And she sent me a very long, lengthy message back, but it was cool though. The message she sent back. She took accountability. You know what I mean? She did say that some of the language I used kind of rattled her. Me saying that I felt like an errand boy, felt like an assistant. She pretty much was like, yeah, I do feel a little rattled by that. I would never want to look at you like I'm better than you. There's a lot of things in here. I may put something on the screen, I may not. I still may keep that kind of private. But what came of this? Why I'm sharing all this? She was addressing things like, I'll try to, be more independent. She's like, I was overwhelmed during the shift, and in my mind, I'm like, damn, it's a Wednesday. It ain't even that busy. You know what I mean? Like, what is so overwhelming? But I get it. She's just sharing her experience with me, just like I shared it with her. Now, the reason I'm sharing this, how this plays into how to stand up for yourself, how to set a boundary. When I sent that voice note to her, I felt a little bit of guilt after it, and I had to talk to my therapist about this too. I felt a little bit of like I wasn't trying to rock the boat, and this is a woman, so I'm trying to be mindful of my approach to her. I'm not trying to be the aggressive black dude coming at you. But it got to a point where like things just have to be addressed. Like a conversation has to happen. And that's what I did. And I did it respectful. I even let one of my coworkers listen to it because she was kind of being nosy. And I told her like, I reached out to Chrissy. She's like, oh, can I hear it? I'm like, yeah, you can listen to the message. So I let her listen to it. And even her feedback was kind of like, wow, that was really mature. She was like, you didn't say anything like rude or anything, right? But I was feeling a sense of guilt after I had sent this. And my therapist helped me understand that it was because, it's new. It's like unfamiliar. Like I've set some boundaries for myself, but it's still a new way of operating. When you break down, I've had these conversations with people, in my life at times over the past few years, where you kind of have to sit down with them and you have to like, you really are standing up for yourself. You really are sharing, hey, when X, Y, and Z happened, it kind of hit me this way. You know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out a better way that maybe we can like, work together. However you have to word it. You're not trying to be attacking. You're not trying to be aggressive. And like I said, I felt that sense of guilt as if I didn't want to rock the boat. I didn't want to leave like a weird residue in the air at work. But again, I had to honor myself because I had already dishonored myself in that moment going against something I had already committed to with Chrissy, So the reason I'm saying this, man, it's so important to learn how to like stand up for yourself before you get to the point of blowing up. Because I've been working with Chrissy for a month now. There's been things every week that have been kind of building up. And I'm not going to let myself blow up on her. Oh, fuck this, I quit. No, but there were times where that internal dialogue, excuse my language too, if it's getting too graphic for you. But there were times where that internal dialogue was kind of like, man, I got to find another job on Wednesdays, man. She kind of getting on my nerves. I can't work with her no more. So once I started noticing that, and that's what's important, you have to notice. You got to start noticing the shift within you. If you can't catch it, your emotions will get the best of you and you'll end up blowing up at some point. So you want to start noticing when the irritation is happening, why the irritation is happening. Start to name it. Start to get familiar with it. Because, like I said, you'll end up blowing up if you don't. So that's what I had to do, man. I didn't let it get to that point. And I sent her that voice note. And although it came with a little bit of guilt, that went away. And when I got to work and worked that Saturday shift, all my coworkers were like, yeah, so I heard that you had to like say something to Chrissy. They're like, I'm really glad you did. I'm so glad that you said something. I'm proud of you. I'm glad that you actually said what you needed to say. Like it was like this feedback where it was like a feedback where it was like, yeah, I wish I would have said something to her, or glad you stood up for yourself, or glad somebody addressed it and said it, because I've been saying this to her too. So it was one of those things where like there was no residue that was left in the air. It was more of like a, hell yeah, somebody needed to say something. You know what I mean? I'm glad you said something. And it was my own personal stuff that I was dealing with too. Like, I'm okay. I feel like I'm okay. Like, I don't feel like a people pleaser or somebody who can't say no. But I'm really big on consideration. It's one of my values, man. Like, when I feel like a lack of consideration, when I feel like somebody's kind of moving in a way where they may not be aware of how they may be stepping on somebody's toes. And again, I know Chrissy is not doing it maliciously. She's not doing it from a place of like, I don't like Bryce, I'm just going to do this. It's almost like a subconscious thing, which is why I have grace for her and I have grace for people. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to address it. And that's what I want you to understand too. At some point, you may have to address something that has been getting on your nerves, been bothering you, coworker getting on your nerves, maybe how they speak to you. At some point, you might have to address it. That's just the reality of it. And it's really all in your approach, and what's important is when you do try to approach these types of situations, you want to make sure that you are grounded. You want to and what I mean by that is make sure you're calm, man. Make sure that you're not like freshly upset about whatever is happening and you're addressing it right then and there, because you're still going to be wound up. You're still going to be kind of like pissed off about it. So you got to make sure that you're cool, calm, you've got yourself collected, maybe even write some things out, maybe even journal, maybe even speak into a voice recorder on your phone, get your thoughts out and work through your emotional state first before you come to somebody and you about to kind of disrupt their emotional state. All right, that's the key to it. It's really be mindful of your approach to these things, because they'll go better than you think they will. And like I said, you may feel a sense of guilt. You may feel that sense of like shame, like I shouldn't have said something. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is gonna make things weird. It's so, like I always say in my videos, man, you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's what it's about. Sometimes things are going to be uncomfortable. Sometimes you have to have uncomfortable conversations. And sometimes you have to just learn how to sit within that, man. That's what I've had to learn too. So also, man, before I go any further, man, if you're getting any value out of this video, please smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, if you're interested in this type of, understanding of yourself, self-mastery, emotional mastery, stop blowing up, being able to set boundaries for yourself, book a one-on-one call with me, okay? I help men. It's about like a mentorship, man. I hold you accountable. I help you find those answers within yourself to kind of be able to move forward with, certain problems and obstacles you may deal with in your life, all right? So if that sounds like something you're into, use the link in the description, okay? But back to the video, man. Yes, learn to set boundaries for yourself, but first, make sure you're cool, make sure you're calm, make sure you're grounded. Sometimes that means you may have to sit with yourself, you may have to meditate, you may have to pray on it, and you may have to let your emotional state kind of get back closer to zero before you address these types of things, okay? Especially with women too, all right? Because we can come off hella aggressive as men. This message is not just for men either, it's for women too if it resonates with you, all right? Y'all leave me some comments. Let me know what you thought about the video. Let me know if this hit you, if the story resonates. Just let me know what y'all thought about it. What's been y'all's experience, okay? I'll leave a video floating on the screen for you, and I will see y'all there. Peace.